All right, exciting. This session is going to be a little bit different because I guess I'm not the only one here who's heard your story through podcasts and public appearances. And that's why instead of focusing on the regular startup success story, I'm thinking that we today will actually try to get to know you as a person. Oh. I know you're a bit uncomfortable with this, Anton, but let's see how it goes. We're also going to dig into the people and culture of Lovable, and maybe even share some of the stories from before Lovable took off last November. But for reference for you guys, I've been lucky enough to work and see you close up for the last 2 years because Founders co-led the first round in Lovable in October 23. And that's why we can dig into some of the stuff that happened before November. So before we dig in, I want to check. There's a lot of people here, which is nice, even though we had an after party yesterday, and it's the first session in the morning, so thank you for showing up. So first of all, can I just hear, with a raise of hand, how many in here knows that Lovable exists as a company? All right.
Wow.
That's good. That's pretty cool. And then, how many in here have actually used Lovable? That's cool. All right. So that means we have a mix. About 50% of you have used it. So maybe, Anton, you want to start off with explaining a little bit what Lovable actually is.
Sure. But great to sit down with you, Sara. It's been wonderful to work with you since we started the company. And Lovable, simple, it lets anyone take an idea of a software product and in a few minutes, talking to an AI, get that full product built out. And when you're done after many iterations, you just one click and then it's running in production. You can share the link to your friends or get your custom domain for your personal website. And this is what people have been doing. I think in June, someone in the team calculated that 10% of all the new websites that month were created with Lovable.
Yeah, it's pretty insane for sure. So if you then look at these past few months, what is it that Lovable can do today that wasn't possible just a few months ago?
There's a lot of small things. Like every week, there's a lot of improvements to the product, and I think that that care from the team of fixing things all the time is very important. But in terms of something more clear, we launched the Lovable agent, which makes it so that when you ask it to do something, it will take many steps of going out on the internet, find information about Sara if it's creating a website about you, and kind of making sure that everything works, reducing errors by an order of magnitude. And we've been had a huge push on building towards that. A Lovable application, a product built with Lovable should be more secure than any other product. So that's the vision. And we shipped three different ways of making that a reality, where every time before you publish, Lovable scans for vulnerability so that there's the application doesn't leak sensitive data, for example.
Quite important, and I guess also when enterprises are starting to use you.
Yes, it's fun to see many of the most successful tech companies in the world using Lovable to make their organizations run much, much faster, because this Lovable lets you build software faster than if a human would be writing the code.
Okay, so that was then the quick check-in on what Lovable is. Okay. And today, now we're going into some of your traits that I've witnessed very firsthand. And I want to start off with one thing, which is about you working relentlessly. And this was way before you had customers and revenue that kind of forced you to work relentlessly. Always worked around the clock. And I saw it firsthand because you actually even had a couple of months when you worked from our office in Stockholm.
Good times.
Good times. So, what is it that drives you to be this relentless?
So I've always just cared a lot about what I do, and like regardless of what it is. So I think I've always done it. When I decided to start Lovable, it was clear to me that now there's this unique opportunity in time where this is the best time to start a company and make that successful because of all the opportunities of how you can utilize AI. And it's never going to be a better time because in the future, AI is going to be able to do most of the things that I'm very good at today. So I'm going to work really fucking hard and put together a team of people that also really care and give a lot of shit to make the generational product and a generational company and prove that you can do that out of Europe. So that was what we set out to do, and we still have a long way to go. But yeah, we're working very hard every day.
Clearly, it's paying off.
Thank you.
So, another thing and a trait of yours, and something that was like very much of a symbolic gesture, I think, was when you raised the pre-seed round from us in Hummingbird. You raised $7 million, which is quite a lot for the first round. And even after raising that amount of money, you and Fabian chose not to take out a salary for quite a bit of time. Why?
Yeah, so I think it's useful to have a runway ticking and create some like symbolic urgency. And if you've raised that much, you don't have like the runway of the company's runway ticking so much. So if we don't take a salary, we have some other forcing mechanism of urgency on ourselves, personal runway. So that was the thinking.
I very much remember these in the investor updates with the KPIs in the bottom of the email, and it always says runway unlimited, which was nice. Yeah. So another trait that you're very much known for is your efficiency. Anyone that works with you, I think, can testament the fact that it's very short messages, if there's any reply at all from your side. You much rather prefer to pick up your phone and have a quick conversation about something instead of like emails back and forth, and almost no small talk at all.
Is that really true? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this who you are, or is this something like an active choice of yours of how you wanna run the business?
I'm super impatient, so I think it's mostly from that. Like, let's solve everything now, and then I think that has also served the company and the culture well.
I think one story to share on this is I've been to quite a few closing dinners of fundraising rounds, and when you raised the seed round from Creandum and we went on this closing dinner, let me say it was a special experience compared to the other closing dinners I've been to. Putting a little bit on the spot here, but no alcohol was served. The computer was in your lap like 90% of the time. No conversations about anything but work. And you left before dessert because your watch told you needed some more hours of sleep. So
like
just it's efficiency full on at all times. And I mean, honestly, kudos to you because we've never seen anything like it, not only in the Nordics and in Europe, but globally. And it's incredible that you are championing that this is possible also to build from here. So now over to another thing, a little bit of like a myth almost. Many people come and tell me like, oh, you like to invest in these young, cracked founders like you did in Anton. Oh. And yes,
They tell you.
you're cracked, yes, but you're 35 years old, you're married, you worked in venture-backed startups, you started your own venture-backed startup. Like, do you think you would have been able to build Lovable if this was 10 years ago?
So I mean, everything was the same, but it was me, Anton, the 25-year Anton.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that would have been very difficult because it's such a technical product, and I don't think I at the time would have been able to pull off like how to construct a team for succeeding in that. But yeah, I think some version of me with some version of a startup would have been successful 10 years ago. So yeah, unclear answer there. I think young people can do much more in the with the right feedback loops, and the default feedback loop is actually very bad. If you're entering your career, you're doing this tiny thing, you don't have a lot of ownership, so you don't get good feedback loop. But if you get a lot of ownership, if you're young, you can learn very, very fast and become very good.
And that's super fair. And I think one of the things you've picked up very much along the way is your ability to pick extraordinary talent. And it's clear that you are obsessed with hiring people who have a very unique background and normally traits and experiences that are almost unheard of, like the 0.01%. So I think now that it's about time that we start talking a little bit about Anton beyond what we can see on LinkedIn, and talk a little bit about kind of what shaped you into who you are today. So getting head first in, do you want to bring us back to your childhood?
My childhood?
Yes. How were you raised?
Yeah, so I grew up in Stockholm, where I had 3 siblings, and my parents they met in high school and had kids when my dad was 19 when they had kids. So they didn't really have careers and a lot of money, but I think it was a super fun. We still lived in a house, and my dad was this fun, crazy guy who created what is it called? A car. There's this racing thing where you build your own car in the neighborhood.
Yes.
And so we built that with me and my brother, and then we were we can put an engine on this car, and that type of building things with technology was, I think, a big part of my upbringing, and getting the experience of you can actually create things, you can build things, which I've been obsessed by since I was young. Was probably some kind of formative experience for me. So yeah, my mom was had 4 kids. My dad didn't have a proper career, so it was. I mean, I guess we were very poor compared to Swedish standards, and we even had the family. We got social welfare. When I went to school, I was embarrassed that I didn't have as fancy clothes as others, but it was. I went to a school called the Waldorf School. Do you know what that is?
I do, because Magnus on our team also went to the Waldorf School.
How would you say that me and Magnus are similar in some way?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Do you care to elaborate?
Oh wow, you're putting me on the spot here.
I'm just curious, because I also think we're similar in a crazy way.
I think you have a curiosity to the world that is very unique, and not that I see a lot. Thinking first principles and daring to be different.
Yes, daring to be different. I think probably that comes from this school where everything is a bit different, and then there is much less about oh, you have to do it like this. There's only one right answer. It's much more hippie. You don't learn so much science as I wish I would have learned, I think, in school. But that was my upbringing, and I think when I went from kindergarten to like school, I became quite introverted, and then at some point when I was teenager, I started realizing that if I just go out there and do embarrassing things, or like put myself outside of my comfort zone, then things happen and you get much more data points to learn like what is possible and how to act in the world. And that bias to action is probably something that's been important for like what I've achieved.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So, what would you say was easy for you as a kid, and what was difficult for you?
I didn't expect this. So what was easy for me was like I was a bit introverted and thinking about how things work, and I've always been obsessed with how things work. So whenever there was a technical subject or something, I think like other kids or grown-ups were always surprised by how much I'd already thought about that topic and how much I understood. What was more difficult was probably to not be awkward in social situations.
Okay. And from the school's point of view, were you like the top student or the average one?
So I I guess I had an easy time to well in those subjects, but I procrastinated doing schoolwork, and like did things with. I picked up books to learn how to code. I played computer games instead.
What was the favorite computer games?
Third computer games. Um, I think it's like one of these mods of Warcraft 3 games. So I played that a lot. I actually have an uncle who told me like, Anton, you have so much fucking potential, but it seems like you're not like you don't have any future plans. I'm like, yeah, maybe. And he told me like, okay, if you get good grades, you're going to get like I'm going to give you a performance bonus. So that actually made me have the top grades from high school. So
Incentive systems works, I guess.
I think so. I like the challenging games. And then I went into university, and I was like, okay, I could do computer science, which is something I was already doing and thought would be fun. But I got excited by like, okay, there's this one most difficult degree in Sweden. It's called engineering physics, where you have to learn literally everything. And it's also good because then you can do any type of research. Like if you want to, I was very super curious about the world, and research was something I thought I would do. So that I did the engineering physics, and then coming from this, do you know Max Tegmark, also like a physics guy from Sweden? He had the same experience where he came from a Waldorf school where you're a bit like starved of opportunity to learn, and then you come to use physics and you're like, fuck, there's a lot of people around me that are super nerdy, and there's so many things you can learn. So I just studied a lot when I was there, and I got the best grades there as well. So I got more ambitious in university.
Well done. Yeah. And with all of this background, do you feel that this, like the way that you were raised, is now helping you as a founder today, or like more working against you?
No, I don't know where I got this bias to action from, but that's of course very important, like this impatient and bias to action, and not being afraid of being contrarian. I think has also been absolutely critical.
Yeah,
and that comes from probably like the friends when I grew up. They were also not afraid of being weird.
I love that. Let's ensure that more people are not afraid to be weird. Okay, I appreciate this a lot. If we're gonna finish off with now zooming out to then the culture that you've built at Lovable, then how would you describe Lovable's culture today?
So when people join, I hear from them that like someone joined, Eric joined recently from Spotify, and he said like that I was just so surprised and amazed by how much people who work here care, and that's the best part of being here. And what we generally do is that we make sure to hire people who are missionaries and driven by the mission and care a lot about how we work together, like what's the right way for us to work together, who are the right people to bring onto the team, and how do we make our users successful, how do we make the best possible product, and obsess over every part of that. I think that's a very important part. Then I don't know exactly how we've succeeded so well here. I guess I care about it, but I don't test so much for it. But I think I like instinctively have made sure that everyone on the team has very much like a team player, and has is humble and wants to be think team first in how you build, and that creates a very good atmosphere and environment.
So then, what have you actually fucked up with when it comes to recruiting?
What we've fucked up with? I think what's important if you want to hire is to be like super well networked across many different types of groups. And I wish I've been more proactive in being like network across many different groups, and I think I could have been better at understanding like what the best, like people who are the best in what they're doing outside of the things I'm good at. So naturally in a startup you hire a lot of people who you know from before, who are often like similar to you, and that's what happened at Lovable in the beginning. Now today I'm very happy, and I'm not thinking so much about it, but I'm just my network has obviously broadened a lot from everyone wanting to come to us, that we're hiring like 50-50 women and men, and a lot of leadership is women, and like from many different types of backgrounds, and it's just driven from getting the best person, or constructing the best possible team, yeah. And getting the best people for each job. So, yeah, if I had been earlier on, like being well connected in different type of groups, that would have been something that's enabled us to have more like different type of people that have different strengths.
Yeah, I can say I've seen this very close by. You've taken all these topics extremely seriously, and you're acting on them extremely fast. And I personally, as an investor, I'm just super proud of what you are building. So I know we're running out of time here, even though I could sit here and talk with you for hours. So I want you to just finish off by sharing where you think Lovable is in a couple of years from now.
In a couple of years, so like our mission is really betting on humans being builders at heart, and having the agency internally to want to build things and build successful businesses. So a success for us is to see that a million successful businesses have been started, built on top of Lovable, which today helps you build the working version of your product. But in the future is a platform to do much more, and maybe hopefully all the steps, helps with all of the steps to build a successful business, be it setting up payments, incorporating your company, and getting users to pay to customers to your business. Yeah. So that's what we want to achieve, building that economy out. And if we have unlocked a lot of the best ideas that are within the 99% who don't know how to write code, and let people have fun by unlocking their creativity, that's also a big success. If you look super concretely, I mean, what we're doing is that we have an agent that you talk to that helps you build your business, build your software. That agent is smart today. We're going to make it much smarter. And every day we're giving it new capabilities in terms of what decisions the agent can take to make you successful in what you're trying to achieve and build.
Amazing. Thank you for being such an inspiration
Thank you,
and
Sara.
for putting the Nordics on the map. And thank you so much for your time, Anton.